Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. My name is Wildkard. Finally, the November International Test is upon us, and the invasion fleet has set sail to the north on a quest to reclaim the Rugby World Rankings back down to the south to where we're supposed to be. The Wallabies needs to get back where we're supposed to be, okay? We are currently ranked 9th right here, okay? Right here, 9th. This is the lowest ranking in the history of the Wallabies. Undoubtedly, this has to be an error. So, yeah, this tour to the north, there's one goal and one goal only, is to reclaim the rightful rank up here, okay? That is right up here where the Wallabies should be, okay? And always will be, okay? So, yeah, first off, Scotland is on the list. Scotland 6th. Hopefully, after we're beating Scotland this weekend, we're going to skyrocket to 3rd, maybe even 2nd. And after that, the next week, we'll take the number 1 spot. Yeah, that's the plan. But Scotland first. Let's talk about Scotland. The history between the Wallabies and Scotland has been pretty good overall for Australia, except in recent times, Scotland has been whipping our butts in Murrayfield. It all kind of started in 2016, and then the Wallabies has not won since 2017, essentially. Only 3 games have been played since 2017, and Scotland has won all 3 tests. Yeah, last year Scotland had a close one, 15 points to 13. But yeah, it's not looking good in recent times for the Wallabies. Obviously, the biggest talking point going into this game are the players not on the field. Yeah, so Scotland has dropped their superstar number 10, Finn Russell. Many people believe that he was the best player that was supposed to probably play in the Lions tour as the starting number 10. And pretty big fall from being, to be considered that almost at the top of the pecking order for the Lions tour to getting dropped from the Scotland team. So Gregor Townsend, in my opinion, has to set an example here. I think there's two kind of like major issues that is happening in Scotland at the moment. So Scotland is one of the teams that really relies on a few big names to perform well for the team to overall perform well and win the game. We saw that in the Six Nations for the Scotland. They came out and beat England in that spectacular home game. And like everyone just played really, really well around their big stars like Finn Russell, like Duhan van der Merwe, like your Stuart Hogg, and obviously the fullback, what's his name? Stuart Hogg. Okay, so all these players, the big names, when they play well, Scotland do well. I would say that was a bit of an upset beating England, and then the team kind of just really slowly went downwards after that win. Scotland was looking like they could potentially win the Six Nations following that, and then they just completely just really took the gas off the foot, and a lot of it did look like the big names weren't putting their weight. There was a video, like a fan, record a video during the French game where it looked like Finn Russell was not really making an effort to run run back to defend. So he was kind of just jogging behind the French attacking line as the French kind of pushed forward and scored a try. And he never really made an attempt to get into the defensive line. That was caught on camera by the fan. And it was posted online and it was trending. A lot of people criticized him for that. And just the overall reliance on some of these big players has led to, maybe a lack of leadership from the rest of the team, and also maybe a lack of, obviously they're so influential when they don't perform, that really trickles down into the team. And Gregor Townsend, I think he's really trying to make a statement here to tell the rest of the team, nobody's too big to fail under his watch. So that's probably the main thing. He's not selected. There's also some speculation with regards to another incident that kind of happened in the Six Nations as well. So basically in the final round of the Six Nations, after Scotland beat Italy, I believe it was beating Italy, they were told to go home and not go out partying. But some of the key players, including the captain, Stuart Hogg, and Finn Russell, who was, obviously, the biggest name in the team essentially, went out drinking, despite clear instructions from the management not to go drinking. They did it anyway. And after that, Finn Russell was dropped to the bench. Blair Kinghorn played the final game for Scotland, for Scotland in the Six Nations. And yeah, he was dropped. And that could also be an attributing factor to the selections. So yeah, Gregor Townsend really put the hammer down on him specifically for really not lifting up to the expectations, both on and off the field. There were obviously a few other players that was involved in that off-field incident. No one really is punished except Finn Russell. So most likely, I think Gregor Townsend isn't probably foremost not happy with his performance on the field more than the off-field shenanigans that kind of led to this bad reputation for the team. Obviously, Stuart Hogg, as we mentioned, is the other person that was involved in that off-field don't drinking incident. He was also the captain. He has been dropped from the captaincy, and the captaincy has been moved to Jamie Ritchie, the flanker. So yeah, he has been dropped. But this also they try to make it sound like that wasn't the incident that led to him being dropped. They try to make it sound like he has some injury issues. He has some mental health burden. So he wants that's kind of like the way the team sort of put it. But I have no doubt that as the captain, not really setting the right example after being told not to go out drinking, he went out drinking anyway, is probably a big deciding factor for the team. And again, he is one of the players who's really, really important for the Scottish team. And if he doesn't perform, Scotland really struggles. So maybe this is also an opportunity for the team to kind of grow a bit without some of the big, like their reliance with the big to some of the big names. And I have no doubt that's kind of like the plan for the team, for the players as well. So in terms of Stuart Hogg as well, he does have a bit of a niggling injury. So that also comes to the reason why he's actually not selected at all for the game this weekend. Yeah. So the weather this weekend is going to be in Edinburgh. It looks like it could be a little bit of rain on Saturday evening. So yeah, gonna be wet conditions, cold and windy. Maybe not that windy, but cold and wet. Something that could potentially affect the game. Could be a lot of kicking involved in this game. The referee, who can forget the referee? Who can? The most important player on the field is Luke Pearce. So he is actually a really, really good player for the 16th, I guess, for the 16th man for the Wallabies, I guess. Maybe for Scotland, I don't know. He's English, so I think he's probably going to favour Wallabies because, he's English and he's not really likely to favour Scotland because, he's English. But regardless, jokes aside, he's actually a pretty good referee, pretty clear on his instructions. Communication-wise, he's really good with both teams, and he seems to have a level head. He's not like a French referee who thinks he's the center of the attention of the whole game. So I kind of like him. So I think he'll be a good referee for this weekend. So let's have a look at the lineup. Obviously for the Wallabies, the biggest news for the Wallaby team is the return of the captain / not yet captain. Michael Hooper has returned to the Wallaby side after taking the entire rugby championship off for mental health issues. He did talk about a couple of things where he wanted to spend more time with his young family. He had a new baby earlier this year, and he also was mentally feeling the burden as he's approaching the end of his career as well. He did talk about that a little bit this week. So yeah, with him returning to the team, really good signs. But the captaincy for the Wallabies retains with James Slipper at the loosehead position. So James Slipper will keep the captaincy. Hooper will just be out there trying to get himself back, back into the playground, get used to playing international tests once again. So good to see him back. For the Wallabies, quite a bit of shuffling as well due to injuries, and obviously Darcy Swain being banned and so on and so forth. So a lot of these players have been shuffled around a bit because Wallabies had a three-test series three-test series with the B team against Japan's B team. So some of the players has been playing in the B team and have impressed the coaches and has been called up to the Wallabies. So let's go through the team and see who's who and who's where. So first up for Scotland, Pierre Shulman, once again for the Scotland number 1. I'm pretty sure he played loose for Scotland during the Six Nations. Dave Cherry comes in number 2. He did not play the number 2 for the Six Nations. And Xander Ferguson has been the go-to tight head prop nowadays for Scotland. Just don't put your hands on Michael Hooper's face, please, mate. Please, okay? Last year, he put his hand on Michael's face. That was a little bit, don't want to do that to somebody with mental health issues. Please, Xander, keep your hands to yourselves this weekend. For the Wallabies, the starting front rowers has become more and more like the steady go-to for the Wallabies nowadays. James Slipper, the Brumbies loosehead, alongside with the Brumbies tight head, Ala Alatoa. Dave Parecki has slotted into the middle with the hooker position, and he has been really, really good for the Wallabies, especially when it comes to set piece. Has been quite good, especially the lineouts. Pretty high completion percentage for Dave Parecki as well, despite only just joining the Wallabies this year. With that being said, there was an interesting fact this year that the Wallabies is the only team in the Rugby Championship who failed to score a more try. We better get a more try this weekend, otherwise. Anyway, so the Wallabies set piece definitely still have room to improve. And we'll be looking out for some of these guys. The Brumbies has had a pretty good more during the Super Rugbies. It has been like a weapon that they use quite a bit. But really not that showing that, cohesion in the Wallabies at the moment. So hopefully the Wallabies get that together for this test. Sam Skinner comes in number 4 for Scotland. Grant Gilchrist, number 5. The kind of like the very experienced combination for Scotland in the 4 and 5 position. Nick Frost comes in for the Wallabies, coming off the bench due to obviously the match ban and some injury issues with Matt what's his name? Matt Phillip had an ACL injury during training, so he is out. So Nick Frost comes off the bench, number 4 position. Caden Neville retains number 5 jersey for the Wallabies. For the loose forwards, Jamie Ritchie is the captain for Scotland. Hamish Watson, another huge player for Scotland. He is one of the players who needs to play well for the Scottish 4-pack to kind of like hum. He's really important at the breakdowns. Just that energy that needs to bring for the team. He's one of the players that I talked about needs to perform for the Scotland to get the win this weekend. Matt Ferguson gets a number 8 jersey once again for Scotland. Jamie Ritchie as well, another excellent player for Scotland. He's extremely good at the breakdowns. So him and Watson at the breakdown is going to be the really key battle for the 4-pack this weekend. Jed Holloway moves from lock position to number 6 again this weekend in that blindside flanker. Michael Hooper gets number 7 jersey, as he always do for the Wallabies. So this will be again. So how he plays this weekend, we have to see. He did still talk about that, that lingering mental pressure that's always on him a little bit. So he didn't. He literally said that he's not, still not 100, feeling super happy or whatnot. Like he used the word cured. He's not fully cured to some extent. That's the word that he used. We shall see how that goes, whether or not he's going to be performing as good as we kind of always expect from him. We have to see. But he has a lot of work ahead of him against Jamie Ritchie and Hamish Watson. Number 8 position, Rob Valentini comes back to the number 8 jersey over Pete Samu. I do feel like Pete Samu plays so good against the All Blacks. I really felt he should, deservingly, maybe the number 8 jersey, maybe even number 7. I was really impressed for his performance, like the full 80 minutes as well. And I think this was the first test. Yeah, the first test against the All Blacks. So yeah, I really felt like he probably should deserving at another start. But then again, he is the best finisher for the Wallabies, coming off the bench fresh, finish off the game for the last 30 minutes is really huge impact for the team as well. And also he covers a few positions that can be shuffled around in the Blues forward. So yeah, there could be a bit of a strategy involved having him on the bench instead of just giving him that starting jersey. In the back line, Ali Price comes in number 9. Tate McDermott gets this is this might be the first start for him this year for the Wallabies. Maybe the second start. He hasn't had much play time at all for the Wallabies this year. So Tate McDermott gets the number 9 jersey. Good to see him back. He had a pretty good red season, I thought. Really a lot of energy. I did probably look a little bit, sometimes he did like to rush that play a little bit too much. So maybe having that calm, collected, having a bit of a calm heads around him helps him a lot. But he is really energetic, and you can't really fault the man for try to exploit some of the options that presents in front of him. Like we mentioned, Blair Kinghorn is number 10 once again for Scotland. Ever since ever since Finn Russell got dropped, Kinghorn has been the favourite for number 10 position for Scotland. Bernard Foley gets the third test start for the Wallabies at number 10 jersey since his return. I thought his performance in the second test was pretty ordinary for the Wallabies. I was hoping that maybe Noah Lolesio would have got a start this week. Noah is on the bench. But Foley, his performance in the first test was really, really good. Showed a lot of maturity, except for that kick. But I thought overall his performance was much better in the first test for the Wallabies than the second one. But we shall see how he goes against Scotland. He also had obviously some time off to work on some of the stuff that needs to be improved. His goal kicking has improved dramatically, which is something that I was really impressed and really happy about. Something that has always been like a bit of a monkey on his back. In the past, when he was playing under Michael Cheika, the goal kicking hasn't really been good enough for international tests, I felt. But he's good. Really, really getting that goal kick under control. So we shall see how this is going to go. So Foley is back at number 10. The danger man for Scotland, the most dangerous man for Scotland, Duhan van der Merwe, comes in at number 11. Again, van der Merwe is one of those players, if he plays well, he is extremely deadly and scary. If he doesn't play well, he will drop the ball with the try line right in front of him. Yeah, so it's one of those things where his performance is really, really important for the Scottish team to try to win this test match. And the consistency has been an issue for him. And that's probably the biggest issue for van der Merwe. As good as he is, consistency is not quite there yet. Tom Wright comes in at number 11 for the Wallabies. And he has been playing the fullback as well for the Wallabies, so he can cover some of those kicking game that's going to happen, especially in the rain. Number 12, a former Rebels player from Australia, Simone Tuipulotu, gets a number 12 jersey. I am very, very impressed by this guy playing for Scotland out of the number 12 jersey. He's energetic, he's strong, he's powerful, and he just likes to run at you. And he's one of the few players, for me anyway, in the Scottish team that really pushes himself to try to get himself to the next level. Like, he is not influenced by the performance of the players around him. He always gives 110%, whereas this is just my opinion. A lot of the Scottish players, you can see if the big names don't perform, they kind of just like hang them, they kind of just like hang back a little bit as well, pull their punches a little bit as well. So Tuipulotu is just he doesn't really seem to be affected by how other players are playing around him. He always brings a lot of energy, a lot of hard carrying to the field. He's up against Hunter Paisami. I think Paisami is also a Rebels, like a Melbourne kid. So two Melbourne kids up against each other, number 12. This will be interesting to see. But I know Paisami don't play for the Rebels anymore, but he started against the Rebels. But yeah, anyway, long story short, Paisami, he plays the res now. Paisami comes in number 12. He had a bit of injury back and forward, on and off the field. So he didn't play against the All Blacks. He's back in the 12 for the Wallabies. So yeah, we shall see how these two guys play against each other at the number 12. At number 13, Mark Bennett for Scotland comes in number 13. Chris Harris, I think he's dropped due to an injury. The normal number 13 for Scotland, Chris Harris. I actually can't remember. Did he get dropped or was he injured? But Chris Harris is not selected at all in the Scottish team. Len Ikitau retains the number 13 jersey for the Wallabies. And with Ikitau at 13, most likely he'll be doing the kicking game. Should it be needed out of the center position. Hunter Paisami will be the ball runner, most likely. Darcy Graham, number 14. Despite Van der Merwe being like the more popular, the more, many consider to be the more dangerous guy on the field, Darcy Graham actually is extremely dangerous for Scotland. He really works himself hard to get himself in the positions to try to score points. And a lot of times, those tries that Darcy Graham scores comes from a lot of his own hard work. So yeah, Darcy Graham's number 14. Just as dangerous as Van der Merwe, and in some, in some sense more dangerous than Van der Merwe, because he does, work extra hard on the field to create those opportunities. Sometimes that is not even there. Andrew Callaway moves to the 14 jersey. He hadn't been playing 15 for the Wallabies for the last 2 games. So again, he is more suited for the winger position, but he did show that he had that talent. He has that kicking game to play 15 as well. Ollie Smith gets his second test for Scotland at the 15 jersey, and he's up against the return from injury, Tom Banks, who had a broken arm. So he's back from injury. He also had 1 or 2 games for the Australian B teams. So he's definitely warmed himself back into the test match. He's definitely going to be prepared for this test match, Tom Banks. So this is a really interesting lineup for the Wallabies at the back line. So the Wallabies actually have a lot of kicking game available for the back line. So obviously you have your standard 9-10. Tom Wright, like I said, he played fullback for the Wallabies. He knows the kicking game. Hunter Paisami can kick, but he probably won't be kicking. We've seen him do little grubber kicks. Len Ikitau is the guy that's going to be kicking for field position should the ball goes to the center field and needs to be kicked, this to be cleared. So Len Ikitau will be doing the kicking from that perspective. Andrew Callaway, like I mentioned, play fullback for the Wallabies in the last couple of games. He's really good kicking game. He's really good at kicking. Also really good under the high ball. So for the fullback, and also double up as a fullback. Tom Banks, again, he's got a huge boot for the fullback position, long range kicks, and also he's just spectacular under the high ball. So with the rain, I do feel like the Wallabies is prepared for that kicking game, but in the Scottish side, the king of the Scottish kicking is Stuart Hogg, and he's not on the field. So yeah, a lot of times, and also again, Finn Russell is also the other kicking option, especially when it comes to creating that high ball opportunities for Van der Merwe. Finn Russell is the one that usually does that. So the 2 biggest kicking game players are not on the field for Scotland. So I don't actually know how this is going to go for Scotland. It's looking like they're going to be playing more of a standard attacking rugby. Scotland has found a lot of success with the kicking game in the last couple of years in Six Nations. I would say both tests that they beat England. They beat England twice. So last year and the year before in the Six Nations, they beat England. So yeah, for both of the wins against England, it did look like they played a better kicking game, especially with Stuart Hogg at fullback. So without the kicking game, we're going to see something new from this weekend from Scotland. So that's definitely going to happen. And if they do somehow decide to play the kicking game, I just don't see how they're going to win that one against the Wallabies lineup. The Wallabies kicking game is covered from 9 to 15. Maybe McDermott's box kicker can take that out. So 10 to 15, everybody can play an extremely well kicking game. So yeah, let me know your thoughts with regard to the back lineup. I do feel like the Wallabies has a huge advantage over the Scottish kicking game, especially in the rain. Let me know your thoughts. So the reserves, George Turner comes in number 16, Jamie Barty number 17 for Scotland, and Willem Nel for number 18, Scotland, a tight head position. The Wallabies, 16, Falau Fainga has been in that jersey for the entire season now. Matt Gibbon comes in at number 17 for the Wallabies. Tanela Tupou returns from a calf injury at number 18. Glenn Young for number 19 for Scotland. And the biggest news for Scotland, Jack Dempsey, a former Wallaby, 18 tests for the Wallabies, is, under the new World Rugby laws, is qualified to play for Scotland. So he will be debuting under his new nation of Scotland against his former nation of the Wallabies, coming off the bench at number 20. So, yeah. Congratulations, Jack. You've made it back into international test rugby. Congratulations, man. You got to do what you got to do. So, yeah, this will be an interesting weekend for Jack, regardless. For the Wallabies, Ned Halligan comes in number 19. I did feel like Ned probably should have been more time. He did play in Japan this year. Maybe that has hindered his progress a little bit. And the coaches really didn't favor him that much coming into the Rugby Championship. So finally, he gets a chance at number 19 with Matt Phillip injured. Number 20, Pete Samuel, like we talked about, the finisher for the Wallabies. He will be bringing a lot of that energy coming off the bench. I really felt like, his performance deserves to be at the start, but he's just so good as a finisher for the Wallabies. It really makes sense for him to come off the bench at number 20. Number 21, George Horn comes in number 21 for Scotland. The greatest beard in the world, Nick White, comes in at number 21. Ross Thompson, number 22 for Scotland. Noah Lolesio returns from, I think it was a HIA for the Wallabies at number 22. Number 23, Damien Hoyland for Scotland. And Jock Campbell comes in number 23 for the Wallabies. Another specialized fullback. A lot of people has been calling for him to be added into the Wallabies as a fullback. He finally gets the debut for the Wallabies, potentially in that fullback position. Jock Campbell, congratulations, man. So yeah, that is the lineup. My prediction for this game, I do see the Wallabies win this one, to be really, really frank, with the return of Michael Hooper and also the back line. I just don't see the kicking game losing the kicking game for the Wallabies. In terms of forward pack, I don't see the Scottish team have too much of a dominance, too much of an advantage over the Wallabies. The Scottish team isn't one of the team that has like a super strong maul as well. I mean, they can maul. I don't see too much advantage over the Wallabies. The Andy department, maybe at the breakdowns, Jamie Ritchie and Hamish Watson has a little bit of advantage over the Wallabies, but overall, I don't see the Scottish team gets ahead in this one. I think the Wallabies will win this one by 12. Yeah. Let's say 25 points to 13. 25 points to 13, I think. Let me know your thoughts. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for being here. I really do appreciate it. Especially with the rain. I struggle to see. I don't think the Scottish team will be able to win the kicking game with the current setup. Even with Duan van der Merwe. I just don't see it. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your predictions. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you guys this weekend for the review on Sunday. Have a good one. See you later. Cheers.